Greetings, truth seekers, and welcome once again to our channel, where we delve into the startling realities behind the glitzy world of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you back. Now, settle in with your favorite cup of tea, because today's discussion is nothing short of astonishing. Your friendly neighbor here, and I must say, I've just spent countless hours dissecting the latest Christmas card from the Montecito couple of card that has sparked widespread conversation, and not for the best reasons. Before we dive into the details, let's get housekeeping out of the way. If you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Give that like button a tap, hit subscribe, and make sure to ring the notification bell pronto. Now, as many of you know, I have decades of experience in photography and image editing. With that expertise, I can confidently say that the quality of this card's image is nothing less than appalling. And yes, I mean appalling in bold capital letters, my friends. The execution here is truly disappointing. It appears as though this image was captured using one of those old Nokia phones from the early days of mobile photography, you know, the ones where distinguishing between your family and a collection of blurry shadows was nearly impossible. My dear viewers, let me assure you this is no coincidence. Absolutely nothing that emerges from the Montecito, Puerto Rico machine happens by chance. The more I scrutinize this Christmas card, the more it becomes clear that we are witnessing yet another deliberate move in Meghan's unending game of smoke and mirrors. Let's begin with the glaring issue of quality. Here we have two individuals who have secured multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix, consistently champion their personal brand, and have access to the finest photographers money can buy. Yet they release a Christmas card that resembles something processed through a 1990s fax machine. Please spare me a moment to catch my breath, because honestly the composition, or rather the complete lack of it, is downright baffling. As someone with decades of experience working with images, I find this utterly painful to examine. There's an excessive amount of floor space in the photo, almost as if they're trying to market real estate rather than share a heartfelt family moment. To make matters worse, the poor dog is literally cut in half. And if you observe closely, the pup seems to be pleading for help through the lens. I'm not exaggerating, my friends, it genuinely looks as though that dog is trying to send out an SOS. Now let's move on to the mysterious children featured in this photo. Notice how deliberately cautious I'm being with my words here. The assumption is that these are Archie and Lilibet, but the conveniently poor image quality makes it nearly impossible to discern any details. And speaking of details, isn't it curious how Archie suddenly seems to have such strikingly vibrant red hair? Now, don't misunderstand me, I have nothing but love for redheads. They're a cherished and unique group that deserves our admiration and protection. Samantha, if you're watching this, I see you. However, something about this entire situation feels a little off. Let's move on to discuss little Lilibet's shoes, or what we assume are her shoes. They look like solid blocks, almost as though they were pulled straight from an 80s video game. Remember those old Nintendo characters with their chunky, blocky feet? That's exactly the vibe we're getting here. And conveniently enough, the quality of the photo is so poor that we can't make out any real details. But here's where things get truly fascinating, my loyal viewers. This Christmas card isn't just a simple holiday greeting gone wrong, it's part of a much larger pattern. Think about it. Every single time the Sussexes release images of their children, there's always something peculiar, something that makes you pause, squint, and say, hang on a moment, what's going on here? It feels as though they're engaged in an ongoing game of peekaboo with the public, but instead of coming across as playful or endearing, it seems calculated and manipulative. Now, there are rumors circulating that this photo was taken in a car park and that certain elements were edited out. As someone with extensive expertise in photo manipulation, I have to disagree. I don't see the usual indicators of digital editing, no repeating patterns in the foliage, no obvious clone stamp tool marks. However, what I do notice is arguably worse, a deliberately poor quality image being presented as an authentic and casual family moment. And then there's the overall presentation of the Christmas card, which somehow manages to make things even worse. They've placed this photo into what appears to be the most basic Canva template imaginable, the kind you might use for a neighborhood bake sale flyer. And this is supposed to come from the office of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. The same individuals who frequently preach about luxury brands and high-end lifestyles have sent out what can only be described as something resembling a rushed middle school project. And let's not forget those additional photos they included. Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? We've got Meghan, the perpetual hugger, Harry, the self-styled savior, and a collection of overly staged images that feel about as genuine as a $3 bill. The polo photos, in particular, are simply astonishing. They've managed to take one of the most refined sports and make it look like a photo shoot for a bargain bin magazine. But you know what really gets to me? The wording happy holiday season. Really? Would it have been too much to say Merry Christmas like the rest of the royal family? No, of course not. They have to stand out to signal their supposed progressiveness, even if it means churning out something indistinguishable from a generic corporate holiday card. Well, here's the kicker, let me show you what they should have done. Apparently, I'm now the one doing their job for them. If you crop that main photo properly, eliminate all the unnecessary floor space, and create a balanced composition, you'd actually end up with something that looks halfway professional. It's as though they're either not even trying anymore or trying far too hard to appear like they're not trying at all. Honestly, keeping up with their games is downright exhausting. And let's talk about the branding for a moment. This card doesn't just come from Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, it's also from RQL Productions, RQL Foundation, and possibly even their dog walker and gardener. They're clearly attempting to make a two-person operation sound like a sprawling global empire. But here's what truly breaks my heart, dear viewers. Beneath all this blatant PR manipulation, there are real children involved children who, when they do get to spend time with their perpetually traveling parents, are being used as pawns in this never-ending publicity machine. It's deeply troubling. At least the children seem healthy and happy in the fleeting glimpses we're allowed to see, but it does make you wonder about what the rest of their lives are really like. You know who would never resort to this kind of stunt? William and Catherine. Their Christmas cards are always impeccably clear, beautifully composed, and most importantly, authentic. They don't rely on games or manufactured mystery when it comes to their children. As working royals, they understand their responsibilities, respecting the public's interest while maintaining appropriate boundaries. And speaking of William and Catherine, have you noticed how they've managed to rise above all this drama? While the Sussexes are busy playing paparazzi hide and seek with their own Christmas card, the Prince and Princess of Wales are out there doing meaningful work, making tangible differences in people's lives, and sharing genuine moments with the public. That's what true royalty looks like. This whole situation reminds me of an old magic trick, the kind where the magician wants you to focus on one hand while they're secretly doing something with the other. It's all smoke and mirrors, my friends, and it's exhausting to watch. What are Harry and Meghan trying to divert our attention from this time? What's the next big PR spectacle they're planning? Because with these two, there's always something brewing just beneath the surface. The saddest part is that Harry used to know better. He was once part of a family that understood the dignity of their position, a family that mastered the balance between offering the public appropriate glimpses into their private lives and preserving the mystique and majesty of the monarchy. Now, he's been reduced to appearing in grainy, blurry photos that look like they were snapped on a disposable camera from a bargain store. And Meghan? Let's be honest, this whole charade has her fingerprints all over it. The calculated casualness, the conveniently poor quality that obscures details, and the contradictory vibe of we're just like you, but also we're not. It's so predictable at this point that it would be laughable if it weren't so tragic. What's most telling, though, is the stark contrast between this amateurish production and the dignified, polished Christmas cards we've seen from King Charles and Queen Camilla, and of course William and Catherine, and if those cards reflect who they are, working royals who carry themselves with professionalism and respect for their role. This disparity speaks volumes. Royals who truly understand their role and respect their position don't need to play games or manufacture intrigue. They simply need to be who they are. I can't help but wonder what King Charles must think when he sees things like this. Here is a man who has devoted his entire life to the monarchy, now witnessing his son embroiled in what can only be described as a social media spectacle. And poor William, imagine watching the brother you grew up with, the one you shared everything with, reduced to such blatant PR manipulation. It must be deeply disheartening. But here's an interesting thing about manipulated images, my dear viewer. Sometimes the most telling part isn't what's included in the photo, it's what's missing. Where is the warmth, the genuine connection, the dignity that should accompany their positions? All of it seems to have been sacrificed on the altar of relevancy and attention-seeking. You know what makes me laugh, though? They probably thought they were being clever with this entire situation, aiming for that casual, relatable vibe, but they've overlooked one key thing: authenticity can't be faked. the harder you try to make something appear natural, the more artificial it comes across. It's like those Instagram influencers who spend hours setting up a just woke up like this shot. And let's not overlook the timing of this release. Just as positive royal news was beginning to gain traction, suddenly we have this blurry, mysterious Christmas card making its way into the media cycle. Coincidence? I think not. This is classic Meghan Puerto Rico strategy: never let the spotlight stray too far from Montecito. What really bothers me, though, my friends, is how they're playing with people's emotions. They know there is genuine public interest in their children. After all, these are the grandchildren of the King of England. But instead of handling that interest with grace and dignity, they're turning it into a guessing game, manipulating the public's curiosity for their own gain. Are these really their children? Is that really Harry's hair? And what's with those bizarre shoes? It's exhausting and frankly disrespectful to both their family and the public. You know who I really feel for in all of this? The staff at Archewell, who likely had to sign off on this mess. Can you imagine being a professional in PR or communications and having to approve a Christmas card that looks like it was created by a first-time user of Photoshop? Actually, that's an insult to first-time Photoshop users. At least they usually try harder. Let me be clear, I'm not asking for perfectly posed formal portraits. Nobody expects that from Harry and Meghan anymore. But is it too much to ask for a holiday card that doesn't look like it was taken on a flip phone from 2005? Is it too much to expect basic professional quality from two people who constantly remind us of their global brand and influence? Here's another thing that's really bothering me: the complete absence of any connection to their royal heritage in this card. There's no mention of their relationship with the king, no acknowledgement of their place in the royal family, except of course for their titles. They'll never let go of those, will they? It's almost as if they're trying to craft an alternate reality where they're just another celebrity couple in California, only pulling the royal card when it suits them. What would have been nice, though, is a card that reflected some genuine connection to their family across the pond, a message of unity and reconciliation during the holiday season. But instead, we get this strange, blurry snapshot that raises more questions than it answers. The comments I'm seeing from you, my amazing viewers, are fascinating. Some of you are saying it looks like it was shot on a security camera, and honestly, that's not far off. Others are pointing out how convenient it is that the quality is just poor enough to prevent any real scrutiny. You're all picking up on the same things I am, and it just shows how we've all become savvy to these tactics. Now, I know some might say I'm being too harsh, that I'm reading too much into a simple Christmas card. But my dear viewers, nothing, and I mean nothing, that comes from the Sussex camp is ever simple or straightforward. Everything is calculated, everything is planned, and everything serves an agenda. As we wrap up this analysis, and yes, I can't believe I've spent this much time discussing what is essentially a blurry holiday photo, let me leave you with this thought. What does it say about Harry and Meghan that they can't even release a simple Christmas card without it turning into a media circus? What does it say about their priorities that they'd rather play these games than simply share a clear, honest moment with the public? To my wonderful viewers who've stuck with me through this deep dive into the latest Sussex saga, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you see in this Christmas card? What do you think about the quality, the composition, the timing? Drop your comments below and let's discuss this together. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay updated on all the latest royal drama, because something tells me we haven't seen the last of this. Heard the last of this story? Not a chance. Remember, my friends, in a world of blurry Christmas cards and PR games, we will always keep our focus on the truth, no matter how hard they try to hide it. This is your friendly neighborhood royal watcher, signing off for now. Keep sipping that tea, and I'll see you in the next video. And please, for the love of all things royal, someone get Harry and Meghan a decent camera for Christmas. Until next time, my dear friends, bye for now.